So yeah, it's nice. Just let me know. And
yeah, absolutely.
Get you some comps.
Hi, I'm Becca Whitaker. Subscribe to Raze Chaos.
What's next?
And then it'll ask if you want to.
Frankenberry.
Okay.
Chocula. And then an Ecto Cooler.
Sweet. Yeah.
And welcome back, everybody. My name is Raze Chaos. You've made it back to my channel, and Raze is back. Raze is back with another one. And yes, as promised, in the previous video, we've got some different stuff happening this month. Raze is going to show a bit more of a variety instead of the stuff that he has been doing. I don't know. This channel is about Raze Chaos and his interests in what he likes to collect, and that does get pigeonholed because there's a lot of horror and DC and whatnot, and there's other stuff that Raze doesn't touch on as often. Raze had another flash not long ago. Raze had picked up a deck of cards from the Dollar Tree. He picked up 3 decks of cards, and the Batman deck was absolutely mind-blowing, to say the least. So Raze has decided to go ahead and it reignited his love for playing cards, which Raze did collect to some extent previously. I believe in the last giveaway Raze did, he actually, one of the things he gave away was actually a Joker poker set. Yeah, Raze wants to get back into that. So Raze went back to get another deck of cards, and Raze found the Star Wars deck. And just looking at this looks like the vintage action figures on here. And if that's the case, this is going to be a lot of fun. Because, one, Raze gets to attempt to name all the characters, which Raze is a pretty good, Raze is I'd say a pretty decent Star Wars fan. Big fan of the original trilogy, not so much the newer trilogy. Did dip out and kind of explore some of the extended Star Wars universe back when there was only one trilogy, and then Raze got into some of the novels, and it was kind of hit or miss. But yeah, so Raze is looking forward to this, because if there's one thing Raze did have was Star Wars toys when he was a kid. So trying to check these things out and have a look at them, see if this deck is really of interest to a Star Wars fan or not. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to get rid of this guy, and we are going to pop this thing open and have a look at him.
Oh, that little worm pig weasel pig!
We've got it. The image that will probably be the thumbnail and that's on the card box is actually the Star Wars. That's the back of the card. That's what these look like. And yeah, several figures right on the back. Raze can identify at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 figures on the back. I don't know exactly how many figures are on the back, but 18 of them were in Raze's collection at one point when he was a young child. Yeah, so that really gives me hope, because yeah, Raze, that's probably the early between the original Star Wars line and the Superpowers collection. Those were Raze's toys of choice, so to speak. And so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at these. And right off the bat, we've got the Jokers on either side of it. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at these. And it looks like, yeah, okay, great. So one side has the name of the figure. These are the toys. And then the other side, it has the name of which movie they came from. Ooh, even the date, 1983. Or at least that's how it is on the Joker card. And on, I guess you'd say the red Joker, we have the the Gamorrean Guard. And yeah, his name's on one side, the Return of the Jedi's on that, and that is a figure that Raze had. So that's very, very exciting. I think we're going to go ahead and put, we're going to separate them between the ones Raze had and the ones Raze didn't. So yeah, Gamorrean Guard, Red Joker, Raze had that one. And then the blue Joker, yes, also from Return of the Jedi, we have the Rancor Monster. And yes, Raze had that one too. He was huge, and he had a working jaw and a little trip. So Raze used to actually play with that and make him talk. Raze had a younger brother, and you know, Raze would do a bit of a puppet show for his younger brother when he did that. And I think the funniest memory is anytime my brother would ask the Rancor a question, like, where are you from? The Rancor would always say, Chicago. And anytime he asked him, if invariably, I don't know why, we're talking about, you know, Raze roughly around 10 years old. Every question somehow tied to Chicago for some reason. And never understood why that was a thing that he did, but it made his brother laugh, so he continued to do it. So yes, so far we're starting out with the Jokers. Raze had both of those suckers, and now we're gonna divide them up into. Oh yeah, I'm looking at it. These appear to all be different. So Raze is gonna go ahead and separate it. These are the clubs. These are the diamonds. And these are the hearts. And these are the spades. So we're going to go ahead and I think we're going to go ahead and start with the first batch here, which would be the clubs, which is very cool. And I have a feeling we're going to be looking at each and every one of these suckers. Because there does not appear to be any duplicates. Okay, right off the bat, Ace of Clubs is from Return of the Jedi, and it is the Emperor. And yes, this falls into the Raze did have this one, and that is very cool. This was a fun figure to have, and yeah, it says 1984 right on there. Oh, that is so fun. Yeah, this was one of the later figures that Raze got, but yes, Ace of Clubs is the Emperor. And the Two of Clubs, oh my goodness, they go right down to the bottom. They went the polar opposite direction. Two of Clubs is R2-D2, and it shows the figure right there. It says from Star Wars, and I do like the fact that it just says Star Wars. It doesn't say Star Wars A New Hope, because that didn't come till later. But yeah, the original way it came out, yeah, 1977. I love the fact that they've got the year up here in the corner, and yeah, this would be so much fun to play anything with. Raze is already going to say a Star Wars collector is going to want this deck. Raze is only 4 cards into this, and he's already like, oh, let's do it. And Three of Clubs are the Sand People, and yes, also known as the Tusken Raiders, but that's how they were called in the original lineup. That's how we always referred to them, as the Sand People. And Yeah, Star Wars 1977. He's holding the his club over his head, which is a lot of fun. Um, yeah, that's just too cool. Um, Sand people from Star Wars. That's the three of clubs right there, and then we go to the four, and yes, oh my goodness, this is so good. Um, I know he's got a different name, but to me, he will always be from Star Wars. From it's 1978 is the year on this one. Is Walrus Man, and oh yeah, yeah, this is another one that Ray's had. I mean, this is so cool. Ray's little collection. Um, this is so cool. Ray's had these guys. This is gonna be a fun little comparison. So far, every one of them Ray's had. So we've got Walrus Man, obviously from the Mos Eisley Cantina, and I know he has another name in the actual story. He's not called Walrus Man, but in the expanded universe they did name him. But at the time, he didn't have an extra name, so we didn't know, or at least if he had another name at that point, we didn't know what it was. So moving on to the five of clubs, we have 2-1B, which it's from The Empire Strikes Back, and we simply referred to this one as the medical droid. And yes, this is another one that Ray's had. I think the interesting part about this is he actually had like like something that looked like a breathing apparatus that wrapped around and covered his mouth. I find it very interesting that's not on here. It's 1981 is the year on this sucker. Maybe that's when they were released. It's hard saying. But yeah, medical droid, Empire Strikes Back, five of clubs. This is so cool, and I just knocked the box down. I don't care. And number 6. Yeah, the pile is just growing on the ones that Ray's had. From Return of the Jedi, and we're back to 1984, we have Wicket W. Warwick, the 6 of clubs. And yes, Ray's had this one as well. Another weird thing as far as that goes, I mean, I've noticed that they haven't had the weapons shown in these with these figures, which is totally cool because Wicket definitely came with a spear. But like I said, that thing had a apparatus, like a voice thing going on over its mouth, and Wicket's got his little hood going on here, the little tunic, or whatever. It's basically a hood. But yeah, we've got Wicket, and yes, Ray's had that one too. Ray's collection. And for the 7 of clubs, we have Back to the Empire Strikes Back. The year on here is 1980, and okay, it says Stormtrooper Hoth Battle Gear. We simply called him a Snowtrooper, which, yes, this is another one that Ray's had. One of the aggravating things when you really think about it is that we only ever got one of these things. Or at least when Raze was a kid, he only got one of them. This would be something you'd want lots of. And I really think that as far as the collector market goes, they really should have, if they're going to have generic characters like this, they should make them a little cheaper, I want to say. That way you can drop the price on it, and it's a lot easier to get like a small army of it. Otherwise, it's hard to pay the same price for a different figure or another one of these. But this does go in the pile. This is one of Ray's, one of the toys Ray's had when he was a kid. And now, for the 8 of clubs, we're going to the Empire Strikes Back again, and it's IG-88, Bounty Hunter. And once again, yes, this is one Ray's had. Gotta love this. It was a tall android, and yeah, Ray's had a lot of Star Wars toys when he was a kid. Of course, with something like Star Wars, you could have such a variety. I can't believe I've actually not got a single one that Raze doesn't have so far, or didn't have at the time. But yeah, 8 of clubs. We've got IG-88. Basically that's all Raze really knew about him, as he was a bounty hunter, because he didn't really have much to say in Return of the Jedi. That's Empire Strikes Back. He didn't really have anything to say there either, and yeah, we didn't really. Raze didn't even see much of a point in what he was supposed to be, other than a gigantic robot. So you can imagine the play stuff when you had these figures and these characters weren't even really defined. You could just pretty much do anything with all the side characters. And for the 9 of clubs, we go to the Imperial TIE Fighter, for Empire Strikes Back, 1982. And yeah, this is not one that Raze had. I don't believe I had this one. I do believe I had a similar figure, but I don't think I had this one specifically. I don't know if this one came with the actual TIE Fighter or not. Hard to say. But yeah, we're finally breaking ground on the ones that Raze didn't have. Which may include characters that came with vehicles. Because, well, yeah, Raze had vehicles too. It's hard saying. But then we go to the 10 of clubs, and we've got Lando Calrissian in General Pilot, from the Power of the Force. So this is from 1985. This is from the Power of the Force line. There was a supplemental line after the main line of action figures, because you had the original 3 movies, and then they did an additional short kind of obscure line of Star Wars figures after that. And yeah, this follows into that, and Raze did not get that set. Oddly enough, this one does have him holding his weapon, which that's been like the first one. So boom, the 2 Raze had. We're almost to the clubs, and Raze has only not had 2 of the figures. And it's getting ready to be 3, because now we're at the Jack of Clubs, and we've got Han Solo in trench coat from Return of the Jedi. And no, Raze did not have this. Raze had a couple of Han Solos. We'll say that. But this was not one of them. Would have been cool. I think Raze wanted this just because it was cool. I remember having a trench coated figure, but I don't believe it was. It might have been this, but I'm really leaning towards it's not one that Raze had. And then for the Queen of Clubs, obviously we have Leia Organa from the Bespin gown, and Raze, that's from the Empire Strikes Back, 1980, and Raze wants to say yes, but he just the way the figure's designed. I think Raze would have remembered if he had the yeah, Raze is gonna have to say no on this one. I don't think Raze had this one. Really want to say yes, but like just looking at the head of it, Raze really doesn't think he did. So boom, that one goes in here, and we've got a solid group here. And for the King of Clubs, we have the original. The first one. This is Luke Skywalker from Star Wars, 1977. Raze most definitely had this one. I think the funny part is they had that weird little piece of plastic extension on the lightsaber, because that like slid right up the arm. You could extend it out and retract it. And that thing was almost inevitably bent before it was completely pulled off. Which that just kind of made it weird looking. But yes, Raze most definitely had this one. I think just about everybody had this one. So boom, we are really flying through this, and yeah, we've got this nice little. Raze has got more haves than have-nots. So what are we going to do? We're going to go ahead and pull into the, well, that was clubs. This is hearts. We're going to go into the hearts. And for the hearts, we have from Return of the Jedi, we have the Imperial Royal, the Emperor's Royal Guard. And yes, this is one that Raze did have. Really kind of odd because we didn't, you didn't see these guys do anything. But Raze had, I think Raze had more than one of these. And so they were just kind of twins. Because, you know, there was no backstory to these guys other than they were the Imperial Guard. So, you know, when you're playing, it's just going to like, okay, well, yeah, we've got one. We've got two. But yeah, for the Ace of Spades, or the Ace of Hearts, we have the Imperial Guard. And that is just too cool. And then two of Hearts, we have 8D8. Did I say that's his name? Raises eyes. This is a small word. And it's also from Return of the Jedi. And this actually came with the droid's playset. The droid, I don't know, we used to call it the droid's torture area. And this is one that Raze did have because he did have that playset. It was like the workshop after the droids were caught, and I just remember that weird little branding of the power droid's feet or something where it screams and everything. So I think that's why we called it the torture area. But yeah, this is another one that Raze had because it did come with that whole playset, which had like a big crane thing going on to it. And then we go back to Star Wars for the Three of Hearts, and we've got C-3PO, and most definitely, I think the funniest thing as far as the toys went, Raze for the longest time had an older neighbor who always wanted to play with Star Wars because yes, that everybody wanted to play with Star Wars back then, and we're talking about mini Raze when he was really, really tiny. And he always wanted to play with the guy, and his brothers, they all had Star Wars figures and they'd play. But at the time, all Raze had was R2-D2 and C-3PO. And of course, they already had that, but every time Raze would be like, I want to play, they're like, you've only got those two figures. But yeah, C-3PO, most definitely had this one. Oh yeah, we've got it. And Four of Hearts, we have got from Star Wars 1978. We have got Snaggletooth, which was, you know, pretty much right next to Walrus Man all the time. Raze did have this one as well because he had so many. I'm like surprising myself with how many Raze had. But yeah, Snaggletooth, again, obviously we know more about the character now, but at the time he was just Snaggletooth. He was just the short one. You stood him next to R2-D2 because they were the same height. But yes, there's that. And then we go to the Twin Pod Cloud Car Pilot from The Empire Strikes Back, 1982. 5 of clubs. And yeah, this is another one that Raze knows he had, partially because that one arm is curved, and so we could do all kinds of stuff with that, where he would be tipping his helmet to people when he would talk to people, because obviously we don't know this guy's name. He's just the cloud car pilot. So when you got the action figure, you know, and they talk to other people, you kind of had to name him yourself. But yes, Raze definitely had that one, and that curved arm worked well to do the little tipping of the hat. It's stupid, but Raze was a little kid. What do you want? And then from the Six of Hearts, we go to 1983, Return of the Jedi, and we have Chief Chirpa from the Ewoks. And yes, this is another one that Raze had. Raze loved the Ewoks when he was a kid. For as much as people hated the Ewoks, They were marketed to appeal to small children, and Raze was a small children at the time, so he absolutely loved the Ewoks. Um, and for even getting older, when everybody still likes to complain and grump about them, still got that soft spot in there. So Ewoks, definitely. I love the fact that George Lucas had initially made them uh, when he'd originally done the overarching story. These were supposed to be Wookiees, but when by the time he got to the third movie, I mean he wanted a Wookiee in his movie so badly he had Chewbacca in there, and by the time they got to the third movie, he realized he couldn't have them have Wookiees living like so primitively when you've got this one that you followed all the way through the other movies that's like piloting a starship. So, in his exact words, cut them in half and call them Ewoks. And then we move to the Biker Scout. I think we used to call it the Speeder Scout from Return of the Jedi, 1983. And he's actually on the speeder bike. And Raze never had the speeder bike, but he had, I think maybe they called it the Scout Trooper. So he had the figure, but not the thing. So I think that they did sell them separately. You could either get them with the speeder bike or on its own. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. But for the Seven of Hearts, we have the Biker Scout going on here, and that is really cool. And this goes into the Raze didn't have pile because he didn't have the speeder bike, and that's what it. Yeah, it has Biker Scout on it, and Raze didn't actually have the bike. So we're gonna say that Raze didn't have that, even though he had like the Scout. We'll see if there's an individual one, but Raze is gonna be a stickler here and say no because he didn't have the bike. And for number 8, the 8 of Hearts, we have Zuckuss from The Empire Strikes Back, another bounty hunter, 1982. We've got Zuckuss, and Raze did not have this guy, partially because the way they had it set up, the primitive way that they did they did these figures, the original line and everything. They wanted to reuse what they could, and if you look at it, the majority of this character design is a repainted C-3PO. So yeah, I think Raze may have saw this one but didn't go for it because he already had C-3PO, and in his head he didn't want a gray one. Now Raze would love a gray C-3PO. That'd be right on top of that. But yeah, that goes into the other pile of Raze didn't have. And then we go to number 9. We have the AT-AT Commander, the AT-AT Commander from Empire Strikes Back. And obviously, I think this one came with the actual the AT-AT and the AT-AT. Sorry, the little Raze is coming out because that's what he'd call them at the time because that's what it said was AT-AT. But you know, Raze didn't have the big 4-legged monster. I think he had a 2-legger at one point, but didn't come with this guy. So yeah, this one goes into the 9 of Hearts goes into the didn't have pile. That's for sure. And then we go to the 10 of Hearts, which from Return of the Jedi, Admiral Akbar, Mr. It's a Trap himself. And yes, Raze had this guy. He definitely had this guy. And not only did Raze have this guy, but I do believe Raze, maybe his grandfather had the rubber mask for Admiral Akbar. So you could actually wear the Admiral Akbar mask, which was funny. I don't know why that's the one that his grandfather had, but he definitely had it, and he used to wander around in it, and maybe because it was crustacean, I don't know. But yeah, for the 10 of Hearts, we've got It's a Trap, which how would you play any card without playing that and saying that when you landed it? You couldn't. I don't think you could. That would be a rough one. That'd be fun. Raze will have to test that out. But then we go to the Jack of Hearts, which, sensing potentially a theme here, we've got the Jack of Hearts, and it is the Han Solo in Hoth gear from Empire Strikes Back. It's got the 1980 tag on here, and yes, this is one Raze had. Always remembered it because he had the big blue coat, and Raze loved that, and I don't know why. Raze collected a lot of action figures that had winter gear. One of his first GI Joes was actually Snow Job, and why? Why did he get the Arctic characters? Not really sure, because Raze hates being cold. But yeah, Hoth figure, Raze definitely had this guy. And then we go to the Queen of Hearts, Princess Leia Organa, from Star Wars, from the first movie, 1977. And this is her white outfit that she wears in the movie, and Raze most definitely had this one. The Cinnabon hair exclusive here. Raze definitely had the princess in this situation, and like many people at that point in that period of time, before, basically when you only had the first movie, you were convinced that like Luke and Leia were going to get it on. Not necessarily the case, but going to the King of Hearts, no big surprise here. We've got Luke Skywalker in his Hoth battle gear, and this is another one that Raze had. I think and this is the King of Hearts from The Empire Strikes Back, and I think the most frustrating part about the Star Wars figures, these guys, is that they would mold the equipment into the figure. So even though he has like binoculars here, you couldn't play like he was looking through them because you couldn't move them. And that was really frustrating at the time. So, this is another one that Raze had. He had his Arctic characters for whatever freaking reason in the world. And then we're going to move right into... we've got the hearts. We're going to go ahead and stay red here. And the Ace of Diamonds is also considered from Star Wars from 1979, but this is Boba Fett. And I'm fairly confident this isn't the mail-away figure. This is actually the figure, which it's hard saying because that would have come with The Empire Strikes Back, because I don't believe that they might have made, I think they made the mail-away figure because Boba Fett first appeared in the Star Wars Holiday Special. And so he was out there, but like he hadn't appeared in a movie yet. And so that's a hard one to miss, but I'm guessing because it says Star Wars, this might be from the Holiday Special. Not 100% positive, but Boba Fett in general, Raze definitely had Boba Fett. You know he did. And the Two of Diamonds, we've already mentioned this Star Wars character, but for the power droid, the poor little dude that you see in for a second, and it looks like he's being tortured, like his feet are being branded or something, but like you actually hear him scream, which is so freaking weird. Raze had it, 1978. The Star Wars power droid. Raze most definitely had that. Look at all these. Raze had a lot of toys when he was a kid. Look at these. You'd think that Raze was... No wonder Raze is a collector. Look at how many Star Wars toys he had. And then we go to the Three of Diamonds, which is Ree-Yees from Return of the Jedi. He was one of the creatures in Jabba's palace. Raze doesn't know much more about the character. He knows that they've expanded on them and everything. But Raze definitely had this guy because he had three freaking eyes. And how could you not want a character that had three freaking eyes? I think that's one of the beautiful things about the Star Wars line of toys when they came out in the 80s and everything, is that you just had the movies. And some of those, you were getting really bit characters from the movie. You see a flash and they were gone, but then you get a figure of it, and depending on how many toys you had to create these characters, and you had to if you weren't setting them up on display, if you were a little kid playing with them, you had to give them a name, you had to give them a story on your own, which is really cool because yes, when you got to like the Superpowers line, DC Superpowers, which is Raze's other favorite, all those characters had names, had backstories you could read on the back and everything. And while they did give you information on these guys, some of them were generic characters that only showed up, and some of them you didn't even know they had names until you got the action figure. Some of the novelizations had been out, and there had been some backstory expanded on some of these. But when you were a little kid just getting toys, you didn't necessarily know that. And when I was a little kid, I wasn't reading the novels. I will say that. But then we move into the Four of Diamonds, and we have from Star Wars, we have Greedo, and as Raze always says, Han shot, Greedo did not. Probably the most egregious issue Raze has with, this is from 1978, is the fact, I think that was the most shocking thing when Raze went and saw the new enhanced versions of these, and Greedo like squeezed off a shot. There was no reason for Greedo to shoot. It was bringing Han in. He's got him. He's like, you've got the money. Well, either give it to me or, come with me. He was turning him in for the bounty, and that absolutely makes sense. And the idea that Han shot him, to get out of the situation, put Han in an upper level where you were like, you could not take anything. He was capable of anything if he went ahead and blasted this creature. But yes, this is one that Raze had, proudly had, even though he was so weird because there was never a figure that looked more naked than Greedo. I don't know why that was. I don't know what it was about that. But now we get to the Five of Diamonds. We get to FX7 from the Empire Strikes Back, and this was another of the medical droids that they had there. Which, how boring of a toy is this? I mean, I know Raze had it, but it was just kind of like, he had the little tendrils you'd like put up, the little cords or whatever, but when you're a little kid, you had no idea why. He's got like one arm going on here, and Raze had him. But yeah, the Five of Diamonds. This is insane. Raze had too many toys. Raze still has too many toys. And we've got the Six of Diamonds, which is Nien Nunb from Return of the Jedi. 1983 is the year on here. And this is another one that Raze had. Raze really liked this figure when he was a kid. No idea why. He was in the Millennium Falcon with Lando in Return of the Jedi, and that was cool and everything. But just, I don't know if it was the character design or something, but Raze really gravitated towards this figure, so he most definitely had it. So, Six of Diamonds, Nien Nunb. And then we get to the Seven of Diamonds, back into the Star Wars, the 1977. We've got the Stormtrooper, which we all had. We all had multiple of these. Because, if somebody's going to buy a present, they didn't want to get you one that you already had. Get one that you could already have. I think this was the only one of those types of figures that Raze actually did get multiples of, because this was the easiest thing in the world to obtain were Stormtroopers. you could get them in yard sales or whatever, and yeah, give me more. So I've got like a little army of these little suckers, but didn't have too many, but did have multiples of these guys. Though trying to figure out who was impossible because obviously Raze had to give them all names. But then we go to the 8 of Diamonds, 1980. We are back with the Empire Strikes Back, and we have Bosk, one of the bounty hunters. And yeah, this was another one Raze had. You prominently see his foot in Empire Strikes Back. And yeah, Raze most definitely had this and hated him. Raze hated his feet. Raze hated his arms were too long. Raze hated this figure. And he always thought he was supposed to be a priest or something because he had a cross on his chest. So how funny is that? Raze thought that this was a preacher. Like a Catholic priest or something. Just because of a little X on his chest. But yeah, Raze thought that was a cross. Thought it was a priest. It was white. There was a black cross on white. He must be a priest. But yeah, Raze was a very strange child. And this puts us to number 9, 9 of Diamonds. This is another of the Power of the Force cards, and it is an Imperial Gunner. And this is 1985 is when this line was in there. And Raze did not have this. Raze did not have a lot of the Power of the Force line. That last little bit that they had they'd squeaked out when the movies wrapped up. Raze did not have this figure, so doesn't really know much about that one or even recognize him that much. Raze looked at it for a second. Like, who is that? Yeah, 9 of Diamonds. Not somebody Raze could identify. But then we go to the 10 of Diamonds, and Raze most certainly recognizes this guy. Because from Star Wars, we have Chewbacca! And yeah, this is one of Raze's biggest influences. Lots of hair going on there. Likes to growl a lot. There's a lot of similarities between Raze and Chewbacca. The way he eats, or used to eat, that's a big thing. Strong characteristics, but yeah, 10 of Diamonds, Chewbacca. Definitely had him. And for the Jack of Diamonds, we have, again, from the Empire Strikes Back, we have Han Solo in Bespin gear. And yeah, Raze had this guy. Jack of Diamonds, yeah, Raze loved Han Solo, so Raze definitely got him. And this one has a picture of the gun in his hand. I don't know why that is, but yeah, the year on it's 1981. Oh God, making Raze feel old here. Yeah, Raze had that one. Oh, shoot. And then we go to the Queen of Diamonds, which you've already figured out that, that's how it's going to work, is the Jack and the Queen and the King are going to be the three main characters, because apparently they're not going to use Chewbacca and any others. But yeah, Queen of Diamonds is the Leia Hoth outfit, which that does not make any sense as to why they've got the Bespin and she's in the Hoth. That doesn't make any sense at all. Empire Strikes Back, 1981. Want to say Raze had this one. I know he had more than one Princess Leia, and he doesn't think it was the Bespin gear, so it must be that one, because it's Arctic, and we've already established that Raze gets all the freaking bundled up cold characters, which takes us back to the King of Diamonds, 1985, Power of the Force line, and this is Luke Skywalker in Battle Poncho. What? In Battle Poncho. This does not look like a poncho. Raze doesn't remember Luke ever wearing this little visor. It's obviously from one of the later lines because, one hand has got the black glove on it and everything. But okay, yeah, that's strange. Raze has never even seen this figure, so he most definitely didn't have it. Oh wow, that's so strange. Oh goodness, that's weird. That is. I don't think Raze ever really saw a lot of the power of the Force figures. He knew they existed, but he didn't really take a really close look. So that's got to be the strangest entry in there. The King of Diamonds in Luke in a poncho, but he's not wearing a poncho. Okay. Which we're gonna go down to the spades, and who the heck do you think is on the Star Wars 1977 Ace of Spades card? But Darth Vader, of course, and he's got his the plastic cape going on there, which was a really cheap and easy way of giving him a cape. But those things were such a pain in the butt, and once you took it off, you couldn't get those things back on. Some of the Leia had those too. And again, we've got the lightsaber with the extended little skinny bit at the end. Yeah, absolutely, Raze had this guy. So for the Ace of Spades, we've got Darth Vader. But who else we gonna put there? The Two of Spades, we have R5D4, which was from the first movie, 1978. Yes, Raze had this one, and this was the droid that almost got bought, but instead of R2D2, and this was kind of like, oh, you don't have R2D2, you only have R5D4. I think that's funny that sequence of numbers and letters, how many that Gen Xers like actually remember because they were characters. And it's just like, is that your locker combination? No, that's my action figure. And the Three of Spades, from Star Wars, we actually have the Death Star droid. And this was like a silvery character, and yeah, Raze. I mean, you see him in the movie for a second, I believe, but yeah, Raze really didn't know much about him. He had one, but we didn't really know what to do with him because we couldn't remember what he did in the movie. But yeah, for the Three of Spades, we've got the Death Star droids. And for the Four of Spades, most definitely had multiples of this guy. Four of Spades from 1977 Star Wars line. We have the Jawa. Yeah, and this one you could take in and out of his little robe and everything, and that was most definitely taken advantage of several times, because you could. We couldn't do it with any other figures, so we had to do it with this one. But yeah, Raze always had a Jawa. I think he had them, then lost them, then got another one. Raze remembers having multiple Jawas, but never at the same time. But yeah, always loved this character design, by the way. Always loved that. So, good God, Raze had a lot of toys. Look at that. Compared to the ones, I can't. This is actually surprising Raze that he had this many of the Star Wars. He was freaking spoiled. As spoiled as a Gen Xer could get. And then we go to the Five of Spades with the Ugnaught from Empire Strikes Back. And these little pig people, yes, Raze had them. I remember they came with like a little briefcase or some crap. Raze most definitely had this guy because we don't know why. It was a little gray piggy guy. And he came with a little suitcase. And I don't even think he came with a gun. And Raze doesn't really remember. But yeah, recognizes them for what they are now. But at the time, Raze just thought, why do we have these little warthog people? But yeah, that was another one. Raze just loved to have the different characters. As many different ones as he could possibly get. Don't even really know if he had them all at once. I think maybe Raze doesn't remember having this many Star Wars figures, but he remembers the ones that he had. And I think that Raze may have had them and then like some got broken, some got lost, and then new figures came in to take the place because Raze doesn't remember having that many at one time, I guess is the best way to put it. But then we go to the Return of the Jedi for the Six of Spades, and 1984. It's Klaatu, the Skiff Guard, and Raze did not have this guy. But this is one of those characters I do believe it is from maybe the day the Earth stood still. But there were three characters that were basically named after parts of the day the Earth stood still, and I believe this is one of them. So yeah, for the Six of Spades, it's Klaatu, the Skiff Guard, and Raze didn't have him. Would have liked to because he's green, and that would have been awesome. And Seven of Spades, we have the AT-AT Driver from The Empire Strikes Back, 1981. And yes, this is the one that Raze had because he was kind of a stormtrooper, but kind of wasn't. And yeah, Raze had, like I said, had the two-legged, not the four-legged, but like, yeah, this was definitely one that Raze had there. Another one of the generic characters that you just had to figure out your name for himself. And then we have the Eight of Spades, which would be Dengar from The Empire Strikes Back, one of the other bounty hunters, which I think is really curious that Dengar here, it just says Dengar on the side, and all the other bounty hunters, aside from Boba Fett, had bounty hunter in parentheses next to it. So I think that that's how they were originally labeled on the back of the card. Would have been like Dengar bodyguard, or bounty hunter, not bodyguard. He didn't guard anybody's body, but he was basically the fat one. He was one of the fat ones that that you could get along with the Gamorrean guard and everything. But yeah, it was just it always fascinated me when I was a little kid that you had all these figures, and for the most part they were really kind of generic, just all had the same figure and everything. But then you'd get some fat ones every once in a while, and that was cool because some of us were fat when we were kids. We're at the Eight of Spades. We're at the Nine of Spades, and we are at the Death Squad Commander from Star Wars, 1978. Yeah. Raze did not have this one. Raze did not have this one. He knows because he would have remembered that helmet. Think that some of the people he played with as kids, I think some of them had this character because he does remember playing with it, but he very, very confident that Raze did not have this one. So, yeah, we're going to get some in there. Raze didn't have everybody. But now we're getting to the Ten of Spades, and Ten of Spades from 1977 Star Wars. We've got the third lightsaber with a little sticky, little thin part at the end. We've got Ben Obi-Wan Kenobi, and yes, Raze had him as well. Probably had more than a few of them. Really kind of cool to think, Raze kind of wants to. This is probably one that Raze wishes he still had, for no other reason than the fact that it is Alec Guinness. I don't know why, but that just really wish I had that one. But yeah, Alec Guinness actually had one of the best deals going on in Star Wars because he was such a major star when that came out. He was probably one of the biggest stars in Star Wars. Primarily in England, not so much in the United States, though Raze wasn't around at that point. Raze wasn't aware in the late 70s how big Alec Guinness actually was. But he was one of the first people to do a back-end deal, and he got a back-end deal on Star Wars, and the man was very, very wise to do so, because even though he only actually had to appear in the first movie, I mean, yeah, he came back as a Force ghost. the majority of what he actually had to do was done in the first movie, and then he was killed off, and yeah, the dude just kept getting checks after that. So most definitely had that one. Probably the guy with the most business sense from the first movie, I want to say. He's the one that handled it the way he should have, because oh my goodness, to get a piece of the first Star Wars movie, that would have been awesome. And then of course the Jack of Spades is going to be Han Solo from Star Wars, and this is actually one of the funny ones that looks like this is the big head Han. and if you're unaware, with Star Wars collectors, there are actually two heads for Han Solo when they made this original figure. The original head there's big head and little head, and yeah, the head proportion was not correct, so they actually had to change it midline. I mean, as it was released, they changed the head mold for the Han Solo. So if you are a collector of the vintage figures, you'll actually find that there's big head Han and little head Han. So yeah, for you Star Wars collectors, Star Wars action figure collectors for the vintage, I gotcha. Raze sees you. Raze knows. Raze has been where you are, and Raze had this one. And then we go to the Queen of Spades, which obviously is Leia again, and this is her in the Bosch gear. And Raze most definitely had this because it was one of the characters that had a disguise, and Raze had to have the ones that had the disguise. Just right off the top of the head, you know, from Return of the Jedi and everything, you had Lando in a different costume. And I'm actually really surprised that there's only been one Lando figure in here, because Raze had several Lando figures. He had, you know, he had the Lando in disguise. He had Lando in the blue outfit and everything from Empire. And oddly enough, they only have one Lando in this little group, and that's just wrong. But yeah, this is Princess Leia from Bosch, in the Bosch disguise. Raze had this figure, had a very, very long gun to her and everything, and came with the mask. And yeah, that's it for that. And for the King of Spades, we have Luke Skywalker in the X-Wing pilot, Star Wars 1977 right here. And yes, Raze most definitely had this one as well. This was probably this one and and his why am I losing the name of where he came from? It's the first freaking planet that we actually see in there. Mos Eisley Cantina. Why? Okay, Raze has just blanked on the name of that planet, which is insane. But between that figure and this figure, these were the Lukes that you had. Like, when Raze was a little kid, you know, when you asked other kids, hey, what Star Wars guys do you have? And that's what we called them, Star Wars guys. We didn't call them Star Wars figures. They were guys. And it was, which Luke did you have? You had either this one or that one. And Tatooine. There it is. Oh God, Raze must be tired in order to do this. And these card videos do take a lot out of him. But but yeah, this was a good one. This was not even close versus how many Raze had and how many he didn't. That is absolutely insane. Yeah, I count them. There's really not even a point. It wasn't even close. Raze had the majority of the deck as it went, including the Jokers. And Raze got to learn about that strange little Luke figure in here. Let's look at him again. The Luke Skywalker in Battle Poncho. What was that? Raze has no idea. If Raze had to speculate, I'm guessing one of those ponchos is probably supposed to match maybe the Endor gear, because, you know, this is obviously from Return of the Jedi, and I'm guessing from the hat gear, which is green. Guessing that's probably what it is, to where you could actually have him in more of his Endor gear, and then pull it off for him to be the black Jedi Knight. Yeah, okay. I think that's going to be the end of this one. Raze went ahead and exhausted himself again with these cards. But really kind of curious. Did you have any of these? Do you have any of these? You know, if you're a vintage collector, if you are just an old person like Raze and actually used to get them as a kid, that is like a big question. That is a fun question to ask. Like, so Raze is asking you, little Raze is asking the little you in there, if you were from that era, what Star Wars guys do you have? But that's going to be it for today. I hope you've had a great day. I hope you enjoyed this one. You know, let me know in the comments below, like whether you had it or not, or what your favorite figure was. Was there any surprises in here? Was there something that you saw that you didn't know existed? Because obviously that happened to Raze, and that is not something that Raze is really used to when it comes to these older figures. But at any rate, I hope you have a great day. But never forget, that life is full of odd moments. You never know when you're going to be defined.